Kick is taking over right now, and trust me when I say this could be one of the worst things that's ever happened in internet history. Now let me explain. When XQC partnered up with Kick, this marked one of the most transformative moments in social media. Big tech companies are finally being competed against with new, strong, freedom of speech first sites. While Rumble takes off in the background, Kick is one of the main sites, slicing into big tech's control of the internet. In particular, Kick is challenging the dominance of Twitch, one of the worst sites for freedom of speech. Because you see, XQC's move to Kick was not just a simple platform switch, this is a seismic event in the streaming world, and everyone is talking about it. And for XQC, this is truly one of the best contracts he could have possibly dreamed of. A 2-year, $100 million deal with Kick, a contract that's not even exclusive, all whilst providing XQC the 12th quote largest sports contract ever signed. And at the same time, this is allowing Kick to take over the internet. Because what is far more crazy than this contract is what this contract means for social media, as this has caused for the first time in Kick's history, the just chatting section, a popular category where streamers interact with their audience, to now have more viewers than Twitch's equivalent, attributed to the recent term, the Adin Ross and XQC effect. I mean, XQC's debut on Kick alone led to a huge surge in traffic that led to 50 times the usual level of engagement on Kick's site, causing stability issues and even causing the site to crash temporarily. And it wasn't just XQC that jumped ship either. Other prominent streamers have also followed suit. Amouranth, another popular streamer, announced her move to Kick just days after XQC's announcement, and her debut on Kick attracted over 11,000 viewers. And it's also suggested that she too might be operating under a non-exclusive deal with Kick, something similar to XQC's agreement. And it's not just her. There are countless other rumored moves, including even Asmongold.
A lot of people ask me about if I'm gonna go to another platform. People ask this all of the time. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Well, one of the craziest things of all of this is that MrBeast, the biggest social media star in history, is now also hinting at the possibility of doing a stream on Kick. In fact, MrBeast's increased engagement with Kick's social media posts is now actually sparking rumors about a potential collaboration or involvement between the two, with his responses to tweets from Kick have suggested a level of interest in the platform against its competition Twitch, a speculation that's been further fueled by Kick's recent announcement that 6 big names, currently undisclosed, are now set to join their platform, prompting everyone online to think that MrBeast may be one of them. But let's slow down for a second. Why is all of this happening seemingly out of nowhere? What's actually going on here? Why is everyone jumping ship from Twitch? And why is this possibly one of the worst things in internet history? Well, there's so much to unpack here, and no one's been speaking about the other side of what this means for all of us. And so to understand why I think this is going to be one of the worst things for social media, and in turn society, we need to see why Kick will destroy Twitch in the next few years. And to understand this, we need to see why XQC actually moved to Kick. Now, for those who don't know who XQC is, he is the biggest streamer in the world, and his move from Twitch to Kick was a huge loss for Twitch. And in a recent video, he described exactly why he did this. Now, aside from the obvious reason here, there were some other interesting signs of something much larger happening in the big tech world. In the video explaining the move, he discussed the need for healthy competition and collaboration in the streaming space.
Lack in competition, and I feel like, guys, I'm at something that I haven't said in a long time, okay, and it's pretty insane. I think discoverability has been suffering, and I feel like not having options for people just no competition. It seems like we haven't seen a lot of people blow up and come out of the woodwork and just be able to discover themselves, and people discover them just with basic Twitch discoverability.
Claiming that Twitch needs competition and that they're not taking care of their creators, something that he's personally been affected by after being banned 3 times on Twitch. And this guy's one of the most vanilla creators out there. Twitch is notorious for being one of the most censoring, anti-free speech sites the internet has ever seen. And that's why one of the main points he discussed in the video is the potential bottleneck caused by having only one dominant player in a platform, as Twitch has a monopoly on streaming as a whole, as XQC stressed the importance of being able to explore other options and push away from the control that Twitch has online. And I mean, he's not wrong here. Twitch is the most authoritarian social media site out there, with the site banning words such as simp, incel, and virgin, along with introducing misinformation standards that can penalize users propagating, quote, false information that goes against mainstream narratives to Twitch. And a lot of this stems from Twitch moderation system. I mean, in 2020, Twitch instituted a safety advisory council tasked with formulating new policies, promoting responsible streaming habits, and safeguarding marginalized groups. However, controversy was sparked with the appointment of Steph Lower to the council. Now, there was controversy surrounding this, given her remarks like,
"I think a lot of you gamers are actually white supremacists. Just a fact."
And her personal identification as deer gender, a term she used to describe her identification with a deer. Further fuel was then added to the controversy when Lower was seen behaving like a deer on stream, which many users were quite honestly disgusted by. But this wasn't the main problem here. The problem was with her ability to shape Twitch's terms of service and impose permanent bans on streamers.
I have power. They can't take it away from me. And honestly, there are some people that should be afraid of me.
And she would use her powers with glee, creating one of the biggest echo chambers that we see today with Twitch, stifling any creators that went against the status quo on the site. And it was the stifling of creators with diverging opinions by Twitch that eventually led to the biggest, most vanilla jellyfish creators being suspended on the site. People like XQC, one of the most bland, uncontroversial people that has risen to the top of the platform. However, this doesn't stop with just Twitch censorship, as importantly MrBeast fired shots at Twitch on Twitter for its terrible support towards the financial growth of its creators, as he claimed that Twitch should instead focus on fostering creators' earnings potential rather than capping it. And in stark contrast, Kick has been making waves by luring content creators with its enticing revenue split and non-exclusivity contracts, providing a revenue model where out of the 100% of total earnings, 95% of this goes towards the streamer, with only 5% going to the platform, a highly competitive rate that has actually prompted Twitch to introduce a 70-30 revenue split model for some creators, but today it still stands at 50-50. But it doesn't stop there. Kick is also the first platform to offer hourly pay to all streamers, provided that they meet certain conditions. These include active streaming for at least 4 hours a day for 30 days a month, staying awake during the stream, keeping a webcam focus on their face, and being of legal age. And if you meet these conditions, all content creators can earn a respectable $16 per hour of streaming, which after a whole day of streaming, including sleep, this adds up to a substantial amount of money. In addition, Kick doesn't censor people for bogus reasons. There aren't power mods pushing a narrative. There is no political echo chamber ruining Kick, like there is with Twitch. But all of this does beg the question, how on earth is Kick able to afford any of this? 100 million contract there, 95-5 revenue splits, hourly wages, rampant marketing, and endless new contracts with the world's biggest streamers? All of this competing against Jeff Bezos' Twitch that has all the funds of Amazon and all of the corporate silicon backing that you could dream of. How on earth is Kick doing all of this? And what is the future going to look like between Twitch and Kick? Well, you see, this is where things take a much darker turn. Here's why. You see, Kick was founded less than a year ago, on December 1st, 2022, and the entire goal of the site was to defeat Twitch once and for all, through looser moderation policies and high revenue shares for streamers. At least that's what the founders of Kick wanted people to believe. However, these co-founders weren't your typical Silicon Valley startup founders. They were Bijan Tehrani and Ed Craven, also known as the co-founders of Stake.com, a crypto casino company operating out of Australia. Now, the company's history is very shady, and this video would be way too long if I went into all the details, but they've been in a bunch of controversies for using celebrity endorsements and sponsorships to promote gambling, forming partnerships with Twitch streamers, celebrities, and major corporations such as the UFC. And the founders are known online for posting videos of themselves gambling on the platform, which raised some questions in the past about the legality of the company's actual operations, given that online casinos are prohibited in Australia. And the people funding Stake? Saudi Arabian oil lords, who could potentially influence the company's strategies and decision making, as these investors may have specific interests or political goals related to the live streaming and entertainment industry. They want to gain money and power rather than just making money from the site alone. And that's where the concept of lifetime value of a customer is introduced. Now, this refers to the amount of money a customer is likely to spend over the lifetime of interacting with a product or service. And because Kick is so affiliated with gambling, this is where they will dip people for a lifetime, all while sucking their money away. In addition, Stake.com's use of cryptocurrency has made people skeptical of the company, as the company's use of digital currencies makes it universally accessible around the world and evasive from any central government regulation, which is a very dangerous thing when it comes to gambling, because with these factors combined, Stake.com creates a false sense of winning and losing, as by using cryptocurrencies, you'll often lose large amounts of money in a matter of minutes, only to recoup it back with a jackpot moments later, straight into your Bitcoin wallet. And this dynamic was perfectly exemplified by Trainwrecks TV, a streamer who had over 2 million followers on Twitch, and who became infamous for his gambling streams, where he waged away millions of dollars.
Keep going! No! Oh my god!
And more importantly, Trainwrecks TV, along with many other streamers, was sponsored by Stake.com to play on their site, creating a surge in the slots category on Twitch, driven by these sponsored gambling streams, primarily by Stake.com. And bear in mind, anyone could watch them. Children, teenagers, adults, anyone could just go online and watch their favorite influencers gamble their money away. And more importantly, during these 20 to 40 hour streams, Trainwrecks TV would mostly play slots using a large amount of money, where there was absolutely no control in your chances of winning. And over the course of these streams, it was reported that he wagered over $1 billion in gambling, and yet despite all of his losses, he was able to always continue to stream because of his contract with Stake.com, in addition to his 40 million and 22.5 million large jackpots. And yet even with these high jackpots, he was always down at least a few $1,000,000, and yet he was always able to continue gambling because he was being paid by the gambling site that he was losing this money to, which brings up questions. Stake.com was actually manipulating the games that he was playing, all while funding all of his gambling and paying him extra to do it, all while promoting gambling to a huge audience around the world. But it wasn't just people like Trainwrecks TV, it's gone way bigger than this. Stake.com is particularly famous for its collaboration with Drake, who is constantly showing his big bets on boxing matches and football matches, reaching hundreds of millions of people around the world, using Drake's brand to promote gambling to anyone in his audience.
Yes! Oh my God! Yes! Yes!
So with this in mind, it's no surprise why they created Kick, the perfect platform to get all of these influencers and streamers to subtly support Stake.com. Instead of actually directly promoting these people on Twitch or celebrities on Instagram, they could just create a whole community, an entire social media site for everyone to do their own bidding. And that's why it's no coincidence that Drake was actually one of the first people to do a live stream on Kick, in addition to Trainwrecks TV, which came just at the perfect timing as he was banned from Twitch for gambling during these streams. And then with some huge contracts of tens of millions of dollars, new streamers piled in, people like Adin Ross, and Bruce drop him off. In fact, it's claimed that Adin Ross's contract could have been above $100 million. And then of course we're here today, and with Adin Ross moving to Kick, the site has massively grown since. And whilst this might not seem crazy, people like Destiny would then jump on board, and in some cases gaining more views on Kick than he did on YouTube. And now with the recent flurry of streamers heading towards the site, this process is only being catalyzed further and further. And as Kick gains more popularity, this means that Stake is able to promote gambling to an even greater audience. And if they do eventually get to Twitch's size, they will have unparalleled influence compared to any other gambling site in the world, with the ability to use the internet's most beloved influencers to promote gambling to anyone and everyone, which will only continue to fund Kick's dominance. And yet at the same time, Twitch's financial stability is uncertain. Despite reporting $2.8 billion in revenue in 2022, it's unclear how much of this was actually profit. The platform's main sources of income are subscribers, in-app purchases, partnerships with brands, sponsorships, and advertising. However, Twitch users are becoming frustrated with the high number of non-skippable ads, leading to a huge decrease in hours watched and average viewers.
Ads! So many ads! Oh my God, why so many ads? I got 14 ads! What the fuck? Each 30 seconds? What is going on? I can't see! Ads! 14 fucking ads! How is this allowed? 14 ads, 30 seconds each? What is going on?
And as Twitch continues to ban these big streamers, like the recently banned popular streamer Kai, who quickly became one of the most subscribed creators on the platform, this is only making people more resentful towards the site. And because their financial future is getting shaky, Twitch's CEO is reducing any creators' 70-30 splits back down to 50-50 splits, no matter how big their influence is. All while YouTube gaming in their livestream sector is also digging into Twitch, with YouTube alone holding nearly 15% of the market share in the live streaming space. And yet even though they're smaller than Twitch, they generated $29 billion last year in revenue, offering a 70-30 split for streamers, all while providing a whole YouTube channel for these streamers to post regularly, allowing them to earn even more revenue. And things only became so much worse when Twitch announced one of the worst policies imaginable, a policy that would have potentially driven away the majority of its streamers. Now this policy involves sponsored and branded content, limiting branded overlays to 3% of a stream and prohibiting audio ads during streams, due to the audience pushback against ads and streams. However, this caused concern among streamers as the majority of their revenue comes from sponsorships and partnerships with other brands, all while also decimating esport organizations that rely on Twitch for advertising revenue and sponsorships to survive, showcasing more of Twitch's greedy decision making that is driving away the streamers and users from the platform. Now the reason they likely did this was to push all streamers to use Twitch for sponsorships so that the company could get a cut of their income. However, streamers like XQC were outraged by this policy change, a change that was attempting to force them to comply with Twitch's insensitive program to take even more of their money, making a huge chunk of streamers actually moved to Kick. And this policy change went viral on the internet, with people like Moist Critical gaining over 6 million views on the topic alone.
The title's not clickbait. There was a new policy on Twitch that was announced today that will legitimately destroy the platform, with the majority of streamers choosing to go elsewhere if it goes into effect.
And even MrBeast came out on Twitter, completely denouncing Twitch's new policy change. Eventually, after enough pushback online, Twitch did reverse their policy change. However, this brought up many questions for streamers about their long-term future on the Twitch platform. platform, and with Kick offering out these huge new contracts, along with these crazy revenue splits, it seemed like Kick was the way to go, the future of streaming, without censorship, more money, and more personal freedom. But this would come at a cost. And so with Twitch's greedy business tactics and rampant censorship, it looks like the site is finally collapsing, which is a great step towards moving away from Silicon Valley's stranglehold on free speech, and sets a precedent that users don't want companies forcing them to believe certain narratives. And with Kick's aggressive growth strategy, coupled with its attractive revenue sharing model and looser moderation policies, it looks like the site will finally take the mantle. However, is this actually a good thing? A Saudi-funded gambling site controlling influencers to promote gambling to everyone, addicting a whole generation to losing their money and ruining their lives, all with the push of the Saudi royal family? While Twitch is degenerate and a sewer pipe of hedonism, is Kick really any better? Is the site just using free speech as a tool for shoving their own degenerate beliefs into the public consciousness? I guess only time will tell.